All right, hey y'all, so here's just a quick little review video on the basics of the coordinate planes from elementary school. Feel free to take notes along the way with me, and if you want any highlighters, they have them up front, or you can just use your own. But here's what we want to go ahead and just review here on your coordinate plane. The coordinate plane consists of two axes. We have the x-axis here in green, and we have the y-axis there in yellow. X goes first, then we have the y-axis second when we plot a point. Now the x-axis is considered the horizontal axis, while the y-axis, the up-down one, is considered vertical. Now, we have this first quadrant, which is consisted of positive and positive coordinates. And what I mean by that is you would have to move over on the x-axis positive and up on the y-axis positive to land in this quadrant. Now, to land in quadrant 2, you'd have to move back into the negatives first and then up on the positives. So that's why you see this back into the negatives and this then up on the positives to get in quadrant 2. Now to get down here in quadrant 3, you'd have to go back and down, so that's the negative section. And to be over here in quadrant 4, you have to go over and then down, so you've got positive x's and then negative y's. Notice we use Roman numerals for the quadrants, and to remind you which order you're going in, it kind of makes a C when you go from quadrant 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. All right? Now, if you want to hit pause real quick and just try to match down below, and then when you hit play, I'll make sure I go over a few things. But first, just hit pause and take the time to try to match those up, and then I'll be right back with you. All right, so for the first one, the coordinate plane is a grid that uses the two number lines to connect the points, and those two number lines would be considered the x and the y axis. And for axes here, that's just the plural of axis, and that was letter G. So the two or more number lines that I mentioned up here that intersect, one is an axis, but together the plural is axes. All right. Now for the ordered pair, that one was H, and it tells you how to get to a point in the coordinate plane, and it always goes alphabetical, X then Y. So again, if I want to plot the point 4, -2, I'm going to move over 4 on the x-axis, and then I'm going to move down 2 on the y-axis, and we'd plot 4, -2 right there. Okay. The quadrants, as I mentioned, are written in Roman numerals, and a vertex is the plural of the word vertices, and so a vertex is just the corner of a shape, and the vertices is the plural of vertex. I think I just said that backwards a second ago, but if you ever see the word vertices, that's simply the plural of the word vertex. All right, so what I want you to do now is I want you to go ahead and flip over, and I want you to try to just practice plotting the points at the top of the next page, and then when you hit play, we'll see if you were right. All right, so let's see how you did over here. Now the first point there, the origin, is located at 0, 0, and I'm going to go ahead and plot that now here in red with you guys. So the origin is where you would start if you were going to plot any point. So for example, to plot point A, we'd go over 3 and then down 3. So that's what we mean. It's called the origin because everyone would start there, and that's 0, 0, and that's not in any particular quadrant. All right. Now point A, I just pointed out, it was over 3, down 3, and that's in quadrant 4. Now the ones that I wanted to make sure I reviewed though real quick with you guys is that to be on the x-axis, you're going to be given an x quadrant or an x coordinate. So for point C, from the origin, we simply move back 5, and then the 0 means we don't go up or down any. So that one's on the x-axis. And then to be on the y-axis, you're going to have a y coordinate point. And so for starting at the origin, 0, 0, we'd simply move up 3. We don't go left or right any. We now move up 3. And that's how that point would be on the y-axis. All right? So ask me if you have any questions for how to plot these. But now I want you to just pause the video again and try the next section. All right, so let's see how you did here. So for point A, that vertex was located back 4, up 3 from the origin. So once again, if you're at the origin, we had to go back 4 and up 3 to get to point A. And I put the parentheses here for y'all, but friendly reminder, when you're actually the one writing these, you're going to want to put the parentheses and say that you went back 4 and then up 3 and use parentheses to show the ordered pair. Now that is located in quadrant 2. Point B is located in quadrant 1. Point C is also located in quadrant 1, and point D, you'd have to go back 2, down 2 to get to point D, and that is in quadrant 3. Off to the side, I just want to reiterate that to be in quadrant 2, you're going to have a negative and then a positive. To be in quadrant 1, it's positive, positive. And to be in quadrant 3, it's a negative and a negative. All right, pause the video. We got one more round of practice. And when you hit play, it'll be back. All right, cool. So we've got a bunch of points here, and we just want to see if you can give the ordered pairs. So point A, it's located right there at the origin. We've got that B was on the x-axis. Now F this time is located down at 0, -3. Just make sure you caught that F was located down at 0, -3. Now for point C, for example, you can be on the outside of the grid, and the arrows here, I want to remind you guys, mean that that technically goes on forever and ever and ever. So the grid space technically goes on forever and ever out here. So just because it's over 6 and down 5 right here, that's on the edge, but I could have over 7 and down 5. And if I went over 7 and down 5, that point would be over here, slightly off the graph. So every once in a while, you might see that we're dealing with a point that's just slightly off the graph, and it's okay for you to kind of visualize where that'd be. Up top, we had another one like that. We had point E over here. Point E, we went over 6 and up 4, and it's okay if it's on the edge of the graph. And had point E said 7, 4, we would have moved over 7 and up 4 and just kind of plotted it a little bit off the graph. All right? So that takes care of a quick little review on the basics of the coordinate plane and then how you're just plotting points from elementary school. Thank you.